Hey guys, welcome to the Good Girls After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. Today we're talking episode 6 about how well those girls are expanding their business. Plus, we've got some news for you. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Darling, what did you do for those pearls? What?
I am a good girl. I could just picture Beth singing this song.
Right.
Like, I just see her.
I see the
in
whole
everything.
trio just like.
I know, but I feel like Beth is like coming out first, you know, and the
Right.
other two girls are like.
The backup dancers.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey guys, welcome to the show. I'm Kelsey Hightower, and you know, we've got our Good Girls panel here tonight. Go ahead and introduce yourself, lovely.
Yes. Hey guys, thank you again for tuning in. I'm Juliet, and I'm so excited to talk about this episode.
I am too. Okay, so right off the bat, what are your thoughts on this episode? Because I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too. I have to be honest with you though, the first 8 minutes, I was like, oh, okay. I felt like they were recycling a lot of storylines that we've seen. And I'm like, ooh, they need to change things up because I've seen this already. But then they did not disappoint, and they did indeed change things up. So I'm all in.
I know. I love this. I feel like with this show, they may not be very well with like the details as far as like, oh, that logistically doesn't make sense, like with the robbery and like whose business is that, like how did that happen? But they're really good with closing up storylines. So I feel like they tie every bow.
Right.
But so I feel like that's why we see them like coming back to, you know, these old storylines again. But tonight we are going to talk about the show and how the girls expanded their business. Then we have some predictions at the end, and I gotta say, we were right on a couple of these predictions for this episode, so I'm excited for predictions, and then we've got some news coming up here at the end. So let's jump in. We start off with Beth and her husband at the doctor's office. Now, what a storyline we have with the two of them. This is your favorite, so I almost want you to start off talking about them.
Right. They were like a heavy couple. This episode was really heavy with them. So yes, it opens up with the doctor's appointment. And what I thought was kind of cool is that you see her being stressed out and panicked, but yet the first thing that she asks is, how much is this all going to cost? That is a huge concern, regardless if you know her situation or not. It's a huge concern, but I love how she went straight to it.
She is really turning into a businesswoman. You can just see it. Like, she has the power. She's becoming like in charge and just like her own business owner.
Right.
And we really see her develop that throughout the thing. And it was kind of a cool opening because simultaneously they were flashing back to the car getting pulled out of the lake by the FBI. So we're seeing, you know, the Bolins in the doctor's office and then that car coming out. So so we jump into the FBI finding the car. And we talked last episode, you predicted that it was going to be a while before it reveals that he doesn't actually have cancer.
Right. And still, this episode, it's still a secret. He's at the doctor's, and he's paid off this guy, I guess with a car, to pretend like he's a doctor. I don't know if this guy's licensed or not. I just know it's very illegal what's happening.
Yeah. Just add it to the list, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very entertaining. But as you were mentioning the car also coming out, I just feel like this episode was a lot of things were just coming out from underneath and just being exposed, and everything was emerging. So I thought that was really cool.
That is a good metaphor. I really like that. Okay, so we go from that family situation to Ruby and her family, and it's like so like heart-wrenching. You see them like they're doing this cool rap, you know, and then you look at Sarah and she's just on the couch, and I want her to get better. Like, I really want to see her getting better and not being so sick and sad.
Right.
Poor girl, she's just had to go through so much.
I know, but she's so lucky though. She really has parents who just love her so deeply.
Yeah.
It's really, I love seeing those dynamics and how they just are always there for each other no matter what. They're cheering each other up, and they're going through it together.
Yeah, and they killed that rap. Can I just say that? I mean, that was cool. Like, I wish that my parents would throw down some beats for me.
Yeah, no, I don't. But
yeah, I mean, that would be really embarrassing. Like, in the home, be like,
yeah.
Okay, no. Anyways, okay, and then we also see that Ruby is still not going to work, so she's still hiding that up, hiding over that.
Right, and her husband's a little suspicious. Right off the beginning of the episode, he's making jokes that she might have a side piece.
I know.
Which he was joking, but I felt like a part of it was kind of real. What were your thoughts on that?
He was alluding to something, the side piece or something crazy was going on. I guess that's probably exactly what he was thinking. And yeah, it's just sad because you see the other side and you're like, she would never, like, she's so, like, you guys are so cute. Neither of you would ever. So yeah, I thought the same thing, but yeah, there we go. And then the girls end up trying to get out of it. We see them trying to get out of this a few times throughout the series, like get out of the gang, get out of the club, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, they go to the park. They meet the gang guys. Ruby's like, I'm done. I don't want to get caught. I don't want to get shot. And they try to get out of it again. And Beth is like, we'll take more. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a running theme, I think.
It definitely is. I thought that was one of the scenes I was like, okay, or, some more repetitions, and like this gang member has a lot of patience for them. I'm sorry, like every episode they're like, actually we're out, or actually this, actually that. He's very, very freaking patient with them. Yeah. A lot of, he's a nice man.
He's a nice gang man.
No, but really though, a lot of people would not put up with this because either you're in or you're out.
Yeah. And you can only say that so many times before they're like, you know what, you're just done. I would have kind of been like, I'm done with you girls, but I think he sees them as like an asset as well.
He does.
Plus, I think he sees Beth as an asset.
For sure, because she's so headstrong and she's like, okay, no matter what, we're going to make this work. And she comes up with solutions. She is headstrong. She just has so much power.
And she's hot.
Yes. She is.
I think in his eyes, he's like, I'm ready.
He is ready. But I think he finds the way she negotiates, very endearing.
I think so as well. Okay, so we come to this point where they come up with a new business because the guys were talking about how they like keep things changing, like different, they don't stay in one like business, I guess, too long. They keep it switching and fresh so that you don't get caught. So the girls Beth comes up with a plan to hire secret shoppers. Mm-hmm. And so they're bringing more people into this operation. And it's kind of like, selling Mary Kay.
Exactly.
Except they're secret shoppers. And I thought this was kind of a fun, clever idea. Like, they're giving other girls and other co-workers and people money, and then they go buy merchandise, and they're, like, judging the store on, like, the employees and having to write an essay and everything. And then the girls, they will return it, I guess, afterwards. So I really liked that. I thought that was pretty clever and funny.
I think it was definitely clever. They keep coming up with these little schemes, and they're passing muffins around while they're tricking these people to like start a criminal activity. So this show never disappoints on that, and I thought that was really, really funny.
I did too.
Yeah.
And Annie at the in that part, whenever she was like, and whoever sells the most at the end of the year gets a Corvette. She's always, just stirring the pot, like saying the wrong thing.
Right.
And
everybody got so excited, and she's like, what? They'll forget about it. I'm like, I don't think people forget about a Corvette, like a free Corvette. People don't forget about that.
People do not forget about that. But I thought that was it was a really good plan. They brought in all these other girls. And like we talked about last week, kind of during the news segment, we're going to start seeing like some more characters like jumping onto the show for the rest of the season. But we didn't really get to meet any of the secret shoppers, like any of the new characters very much. So we kind of saw them in the living room, but we didn't really get to, see their character line or storyline. But
is that something you want to see more of?
I think I would like to see, I'm ready to see more of that, to see what these other women are, what their lives are and stuff. But yeah, and I guess in the living room, Beth gave a really empowering speech about, women being able to make your own money doing this and not having to do your husband and like depend on your husband. And I thought that was I love that this show just keeps putting in those little nuggets of like women empowerment and and things like that.
Yeah, I thought that was really sweet. But was it genuine? That was my question. I'm like, oh, this is sweet, but at the same time, not forget what she's actually doing.
Right.
She's
right.
tricking people into laundering thousands and thousands of dollars.
That's just a side note. Minor
Women empowerment?
detail.
Question mark? Women empowerment?
Women empowerment? Yeah. Well,
You know?
it's close. It's up there. Okay, so then we are looking at Agent Turner comes in and talks to Beth's husband and talks about the car, and he is very suspicious of Beth. So the FBI the whole time are like right on their trail. I thought this was kind of interesting because her husband, he like ends up covering up for them, which was good because he's kind of like the dumb guy.
Was that the most interesting part? Is that he was so dumb you didn't expect it from him?
I mean, that just plays to his character. He just, he's interesting.
I have to give him this one. He did think quick on his feet.
Yeah.
So maybe he's a little bit smarter than I thought.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was all true, like the whole cheating on his wife sort of thing. I mean, that did happen. So
Right.
maybe it wasn't too hard for him to like grasp at those details. But I mean, thank goodness he covered up for them. I like that, all the husbands are like kind of knowing about their situation, but not, being put in a place where they're telling on them.
Right.
I guess, if that makes sense. Yeah, and so then we see Marian come by the grocery store, and so we're seeing sweet little Boomer's grandma, Nana, come by, and we're kind of seeing a little interaction between her and Annie, and I think it is so cute.
It is so, so cute. I was so excited when I saw her come back because she was a great character and she brought a lot to that episode. But often in TV shows, we kind of see them do that. They bring in like this chick of like the old sweet lady that's just kind of one and done. And like the fact that they're bringing her back and it looks like she's going to be more, part of at least of the series maybe. At least she was so strong in this episode. So I think that's like kudos to them. I think that was so cool of them to introduce that character.
Yeah, and I like her character, and she just has like the best lines too, and her interactions with Annie, like they just have a really good dynamic. So.
They do. I have a good prediction for her. So.
Oh, keep it. I'm excited to hear about it. Okay, so the biggest problem that we happen, of course, the money's gone. They lose the money. They have to find money again. That happens again in this episode, running theme. The security guy that works at the grocery store has lost all the merchandise.
Talk about someone who's not the sharpest pen in the box. Like, oh my God.
I think the girls need to start doing, like, not necessarily a background check on these people, but some sort of,
well, the thing is that,
application.
Annie knew who he was. And I'm like, why would you go towards him? I think she did because she was like, okay, he's so dumb, he'll never know what's actually going on. So that's why she thought it was an easy target. But on the flip side, come on, Annie, he's so dumb that he's going to find a way to mess us up. He is.
I just want to say, of course, it's Annie's recruit.
Yes, very true. Very true.
Like Annie's always,
she's that character.
She's that character, and of course, this is her recruit. So, I thought it was odd. She said the windows weren't broken, and he said the locks are broken, and everything got stolen. I would have been a little bit more suspicious that everything got stolen out of their car. Like, I wonder, for a split second, I was like, did he take everything? Like, did he just buy everything and keep it?
Right.
Like, go on a shopping extravaganza for his house?
He's
or is he just
not
dumb?
that smart. He owns a car that apparently doesn't lock very well, but yet he thinks it's okay to leave $20,000 cash in there.
I mean, at least he didn't lose the receipts. Annie's lost the receipts before, so at least he held on to that, I guess.
I guess, but he didn't, like, his car doesn't lock.
I know. And why? Yeah. Anyways, that's just who the character is. But
And I love how he was like, just call corporate. I'm sure this stuff happens all the time.
$20,000 worth of merchandise.
That's crazy. Well, obviously this is a scheme, but yet, no, corporate would not be, no one would be okay with you losing $20,000. Come on, wake up, son.
Wake up. Yes. So they have to figure out what they're doing with that. And the girls end up going back to the store and getting all of the merchandise because they have the receipt. And I just want to point out that Annie's hair was looking just like my hair, except she was a redhead. So I was
Right.
like, ooh, we're fierce.
I like how they changed that up. One was a redhead, one had the dark hair.
Yeah.
Beth looked really cute too with her dark,
did.
like she was like more of a spy
Yeah.
and less of a desperate housewife. So I thought that was really, really neat seeing them walk in. And that's a plot line I really enjoyed because I'm like, okay, we've seen them in the supermarket so many times. We've seen them lose the money and having to find them, like remake the money, but this was at least original. And I was like, oh, damn, that was so easy and kind of smart, very smart.
I know. And I kind of like that it wasn't necessarily their fault. Where we see them messing up a lot, like directly with the gang and having to go back and be like, sorry, we screwed up, or like, we've got to fix it. It wasn't their fault. It was like, it was one of their employees, so it comes back to them, but like, they were doing everything right, you know? It wasn't like on them this episode, so it was cool.
I mean, it's a little bit on Annie.
It's always on Annie.
It is.
It's always on Annie. But yeah, so that haircut, I'm like, maybe I should go red.
Maybe do it.
I know, right? That would be fun. Okay, so the girls solve that problem. Everything's gravy. Then we come to the part of the episode where everyone's their husbands are finding out about the money. So we get home to Beth's house, and her husband, and Glenn or something? Her husband, Beth's husband, he is waiting up for her because he's talked to the FBI guy, and he's got questions because he told them earlier, you know, like the story, but he's saying like, I don't believe that, like what's going on, like you're doing that. And that scene, I mean, I think I wrote on my notes just that scene, like it was so intense because he yells at her, tells her to sit down, and she's like no, and he was like, come here, sit down, just so aggressive and powerful, and she ends up sitting down, and it's just her face, you know, just
You're not messing with me.
yeah, just numb,
no, mister,
neutral.
not today, not any day.
Yeah, but I was just like blown away by that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you felt how did you like feel during that? I feel like
Well, I think it was very intense, and I didn't expect. We have not seen this character take charge or be a man in any sort of way.
right.
And so I was like, oh, wow, he's putting his foot down. He's stepping into his own. I was kind of proud of him. I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. She deserves to be yelled at a little.
Yeah.
I mean, and then arguably so he treats her really, really, really poorly. So he doesn't have grounds to yell at her. But
True.
I was glad that we got to see them at least really communicate, because we don't really see them communicate much.
Yeah.
And yes, this was a fight, but it's very healthy to fight.
That's true. And they got to talk it out. I just hated how he just like yelled at her so forcefully. I was just like, I got the chills a little bit. I was like, ooh, like calm down.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that, you know, he might have said like, please sit down, or, you know, something like that. But she might not have listened. She's been ignoring him the whole time, and that probably didn't work. So
Right. And he's losing sight of, like, I don't really know what the exact timeline is, but it has to be tops a few months, probably only a few weeks, right?
Yeah.
Think of how much this character has grown and changed. So as his wife, he's not the wife he's used to at all. She's complete, and she even mentions it. She's like, I'm gone. She's the woman who just makes dinner, blah, 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 and doesn't say a word. It's gone. So it's just, it's very weird for him. It's
That
good.
is true.
It's all for the best, but it's strange to adopt to that, you know?
Yeah. And so because of that, has your opinion changed of their like relationship? Because I know from the beginning you've kind of been like, okay, I'm ready for her to get away from him. Let's move on. Like, he's not worth it. Like, is he changing your opinion any? Like, are you feeling differently?
I'm feeling that, I think kudos to him again. Like, I expected, if there was this scenario of the FBI finding out and going to him, I really expected him to like just make it 10 times worse, and he didn't. So that was surprising. Yet he's, you know, he's lying with the doctor. He's doing all these terrible things. He is yelling at her. He's doing all this, and I don't have much hopes for this character. I think
Yeah.
we're going to see him around because he's starting to he is a key character in this show. But
And he's finding out more information about it too. Like,
he is.
he kind of knows about it a lot more. So
Right.
he's like in it with them.
Do you think we're ever going to see him be more involved with the girls?
I don't know. Maybe it kind of depends on their relationship too, like how much he wants her back, and like if he's, you know, keeps trying to be like an active person. Like, maybe he'll be like, I'll do anything. Like, let me help you or something. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe. I haven't thought about it. It's a good question. All right. So then we move on to Ruby's character, and Tony has come over, which was her old boss, and he spills the beans that she has not been working there. Yeah. So that's tough for that whole family dynamic.
It is.
And
it was going to
Stan,
happen one way or another. I was just kind of surprised of how, but it was going to happen. So
yeah. So Stan finds out that she has not been working, and she kind of apologizes to him and just kind of says she's been looking for work. And then he had mentioned, like, you know, he doesn't believe her either, that she's lying. So he knows.
Yeah, that was the most saddening part of it all. He doesn't know anything. He just, like, looks, she just keeps, you know,
he
lying.
Knows she's lying,
He's like, I don't believe a word you say. And that was just, that was terrible, especially, you know, just putting myself in her shoes. If in any kind of relationship, especially a marriage, there's no trust, like, there's nothing. So
and they know each other so well that like he can just tell so easily that she's lying, you know. That broke my heart there too. I feel like their storyline like always pulls at my heartstrings
because they're such a strong couple. They're so sweet, especially out of this trio of these three women. They're the strongest and the cutest couple, right? They're the ones we want to see make out the most and just be with each other and make rap songs for their daughter. You know what I mean? So it's just when those two are not getting along and going through terrible times like this, it pulls on our heartstrings.
It really
sad.
does. Every time. And then I need Annie to come back in the picture because then she brings like the comedic relief and does something silly, which she does. And next she goes over to Marian's house, the little grandma, and oh my gosh, I loved this scene. So she goes over there to tell her that she had stolen from her and she's not who she said she was, and she brought back like a little gift, like one of those little guys that they had stolen and sold off eBay a few episodes ago. And Marian just says, okay, well, you want to come in and gossip, you know? And I was
just wants a friend.
She just wants a friend. And she was like, did you do it because you needed to? And she was
did
like,
you have a good reason?
Yeah, did you have a good reason? And she just kind of nodded her head. And she was like, okay, let's gossip. Come on in. Let's have a drink. And I was just like, I want to be your friend. Like, I just want to hang out with the three of you.
She's so sweet and understanding, and it's very sad because, like, even in the beginning of the episode, she's saying, all my friends are dead. So she's just, she doesn't care what you try to do to her, and so she just wants to hang out with you. But what did you think about the other scene we saw with her and her grandson when they're having dinner?
Okay, so that was kind of intense because you have this sweet little innocent grandma, and she is talking to her grandson, and he's like, you know, he goes on the whole thing about like Annie lying and being a loser or whatever. But then grandma's not so innocent. She knows about Jessica Alba, and she's just been going along with the ploy this time. So I thought that was kind of funny that, you know, she came out of the woodworks with the whole Jessica Alba stuff and was like, no, you're kind of being the loser. So I don't know. I really like that Marian is so close with Annie. Like, I want her and Annie to be closer and just their friendship to grow.
Yeah, I do too. You know who I would love to be closer to, and now you guys can too?
Ooh, do tell.
I will tell. Well,
who can we be close? I want a friend.
You want a friend?
I want a friend. I want a friend like Marian.
Oh, well, we don't have a friend like Marian, but we have a friend.
Much younger? But just as sweet.
Exactly. Really well said. If you want to have fun, learn, and grow in all aspects of your life.
I do.
Yeah, for those who do, we have a podcast for you, Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition. It's hosted by our founder of AfterBuzz TV, Miss Maria Menounos, and it drops every Friday on iTunes. So go check that out.
That's in like 3 or 4 days. It's Tuesday.
Yeah, and just what's great about podcasts is that you can listen to it on demand and just watch it. Listen
it
to it
doesn't
in
have
your
to be
car.
on Friday.
Exactly, but every Friday there's a new one that drops. Conversation with Maria Menounos features celebrity influencers, interviews, along with secret tips and tricks on all aspects of life. Who doesn't want to better themselves, right?
You're crazy if you don't.
Exactly. From health and wellness to career to relationships to finance and more. Let our Maria be the big sister you've always wanted. So just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. And when you're there, be sure to rate and comment. And when you do, please, on those iTunes comments, tell them, or tell the iTunes people when you're commenting, that we, the Good Girls panel, have brought you there. We want Maria to be proud of us because, want to make her proud.
Yes.
So please make sure we tell her that it was the Good Girls who brought you there.
The Good Girls.
The Good Girls.
We are the Good Girls.
And while you're at it, too, make sure to like this page if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching it on iTunes, give it 5 stars, because what else would you do?
Yeah.
Leave us a comment as well. And, more importantly, tell a friend about this show.
Oh.
Yeah, tell a friend.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
You got friends.
But let's talk
And if
about-
you don't have friends, you can listen to Maria.
Exactly.
Okay. Very well put. Also, you can comment below. You can comment live now in our live chat, of course, but also leave a comment, and we'll chat with you later this week.
Exactly. If you, watch us, then watch us again, then again and again, and leave a bunch of comments. Anyway.
Da, 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 da. Okay, so we're getting closer to the conclusion of the episode, but first we see Boomer doing some shady stuff. So he's upset because him and Grandma had not such a great conversation, and she kind of called him a loser, which he kind of is, and he's just a really emotional character.
He is, because think about it, it was 2 rejections, not really rejections, but just his grandmother calling him out like, you're a loser, you're pretending you're dating Jessica Alba, who's super freaking famous worldwide, has a husband and kids, and you're pretending to date her, and like, you thought I wouldn't find out, you're a really crazy loser, you can't find a girl. And then he's, okay, well, let me get my revenge on Annie, and I'm gonna go to the FBI and figure out how that's happening. He gets kicked out of there, not even acknowledged, and he looks like a crazy person, which he might be, kind of is.
I think he is.
And he's like, I work with that guy. No, you freaking don't, you weirdo. And then he's just like, wow, okay, what can I do? I need to do something, because he just wants
Revenge.
he just wants to destroy Annie. Let's keep it real. That's what he wants to do. That's his whole MO.
Yeah. And it's not even all of the girls. I mean, Annie's with them, but it's like primarily Annie. Like,
because she messed with him.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to get with him. Then she stole from him. And she makes him feel like a loser again and again. And she keeps on winning in a way, So
I know. I like it.
That's why he's vengeful.
I kind of like that back and forth. But yeah, he talks to one of his kids, who obviously he drives Range Rover. So he's got the stash of drugs, and he gets drugs from that kid that works at the grocery store. He puts it in Annie's locker because he's going to blackmail her. And that kind of is the end, eludes that to the end. So we don't really see what comes about for that yet. So we'll probably see that coming up in the next episode.
Right.
And then the last couple things that we see are the gang at the park. So they are talking about the changing the game, and that kind of gives all of the girls, Beth particular, an idea about how they're going to be in this for like 6 months, I think.
6 months.
Yeah, 6 more months, and then they are going to start investing their money. So they have a honey pot, and they're just going to kind of like practice like getting out of it. So they're just working towards that. And then I loved when Annie said, I don't usually like just quote the shows, but I just really love what Annie says a lot of the time. And she said a line that says, she knows all those words individually, just not together, when like the gang's talking about like all of their gang words and stuff. And I was just like, I feel that way all the time. So I thought that was a little funny nugget. If you have any of your favorite lines from the episode, you can drop them in the comment section below. And then lastly, the last 2 scenes are Ruby telling Stan that she started a business, and
A lot of money being thrown around. So she puts it on the table, and then Beth literally grabs bags and just throws them on her husband.
Yes. So she just pours out that bag, and that was the end of the episode, was Beth dumping the bags of money on her husband's lap.
It was crazy.
Great ending.
It really was. It was crazy how it was just such a F you, because he undermines her and thinks she's been taken advantage of, and which maybe comes from a sweet place, but let's not forget that he A, cheated on her, and B, lost all their money, meaning, they have 4 kids, how are they going to get to school, they have a house, like, their foundation just completely exploded, and so the fact that now she has all this cash, it was a good little revenge for her.
Yeah, and especially after that long speech that he gave about kind of, you're just innocent in this whole game and,
Blah, blah, blah.
you know, pathetic and the girl can't do anything on her own. She's like, yes, I can.
Yes, I can.
Look at all this money.
I know, it's crazy. And going back to the to Ruby, I thought it was sweet when she's like, my business is doing really well, and she's putting the money into Helen, and it was sweet because I think it would have been too much to have two of the husbands out of the three girls know what's actually going on, just like too much to handle as of right now, especially this early in the season. So I thought that was really sweet how he bought it, and now they're really happy.
I know. And he was like smelling the money again. The sweetest couple.
She's like, you
crowd
can smell
favorite.
it too. We can smell it. I was watching this with my boyfriend and how she's like pulling out like one stat of cash and then the next stat, blah blah blah. I'm like, one day when you come home, I'm gonna do that. Like, how was your day? It was great. Just putting the money on the thing.
He's like, yeah, can that be tomorrow? I'm like, okay, I'm ready for that. Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, that was a great
Such a good episode.
It was probably one of my favorites so far, so I really enjoyed it. All right, so let's get into predictions, and I'll tell you about the promo.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I love when you do the little dance and you're like,
I know. I just love doing like creepy fingers with the dance. Okay, so the promo for next week, we saw that the girls are yet again held at gunpoint. What this time? They are getting into some business trouble. One of their secret shoppers did not turn the money. So they did not turn the fake money into the real money. It's still the real money. And they get caught whenever they turn it.
That's a fake
It's
money.
fake money.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because they didn't turn it over. So when they return some of their cash to the gang members, some of it is fake, and they are not too happy about that. So
Bunch of men in the living room holding up a lot of guns.
exactly.
Does that ever get less terrifying, you think? Because they've been in that situation once or twice by now, but I'm like, does it ever become like,
I know.
scary?
Or are they ever like, oh, this again?
This again. Oh,
Oh,
darn.
another gun. Oh, you put that down, Rio, you silly boy. I don't know. Probably not. I think every time a gun is held to your head, it's probably terrifying.
Yeah, but what we saw in this promo is something you actually announced last episode in the news segment.
Yes. That we are having a reoccurring character, a new shopper. So yeah, we'll be seeing a lot more of the shoppers and their stories.
Right, and she seemed to be the troublemaker. So I'm excited to have someone,
Oh, yes.
another person, stir up the pot.
Besides Annie, she's been taking
Right.
a lot of the blame, so maybe
She
someone
has.
else will. Okay, let's see what predictions that you have.
Okay,
We'll start with you. I was
my
thinking.
predictions, and I think a lot of my predictions are just also I'm like putting it out into the
Universe,
Good Girls
yeah.
universe. I want to see our little Nana be part of this business.
Oh, that would be so fun.
I know, the way she was so calm and collected, and she's also like on her last few years, you know, that's why I love old people, is because they always say whatever they're thinking and they don't really care about anything because the consequences are just kind of not as big because it's like been there, done that. I don't really care anymore. And so I think that, and she also seems very smart and sweet, and she's going to play a good role in this. I want to see her shopping around, or I want her to be maybe like behind the scenes in a way. I just really want her integrated into this
I really
whole
like
ordeal.
that. I am voting for your prediction as well. I
Yes.
want that to happen.
If you guys do too, make sure to comment on iTunes and on YouTube, please.
Do it. I just want to point out. That I said that Stan was gonna find out about Ruby, and that happened this episode. So I'm super excited about that prediction. Do you have any predictions for Annie and that storyline with Annie and her daughter? They're gonna fight child custody, and or anything on Beth and her husband?
Anything with Beth and her husband, I don't know. It could go either of two ways. One way, he just like is so scared he just stops talking and he's just gonna stay with this cancer thing and just lay low, or he's gonna flip on her and try to maybe make her go down in some way and maybe go to the FBI and say he was lying. So we'll see. But either way, it's not gonna be great, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be easy because he's not one to make things easy at all.
That is true. All right, really quickly, we have like a minute left. Let's talk about the news.
Let's talk about the news real quick.
Okay.
TV news.
So we were just kind of trying to figure out. We love this show, obviously, as you guys can tell, and I'm really glad that you guys are liking it too. And when it comes to television, ratings are really, really big because they're kind of they're the deciding factor on whether a show's gonna
Get picked up or not.
Is it gonna stick around? We want more Good Girls. So luckily, you know what? NBC's Good Girls has been doing really, really well. So that's great
so
news.
good. Okay.
We still don't know if they're going to be renewed, but at least they're on good standing because it's like it happens in television again that they will air a few episodes and still have some episodes that are banked, and they don't even air that because they're like, it's not worth our money, even though it's been shot, produced, the whole thing.
Yep.
So not to fear, not happening here just yet, which is really, really exciting.
I like that answer,
They're
Ryan.
actually really close to The Voice's ratings.
Oh,
And
that's a really popular show as well. So
Right,
that's
The Voice on
good.
ABC, and they're just NBC and ABC are always, going at it,
Competitive.
and competitive networks, and the fact that they're on comparable scales is huge. So, actually, NBC was so the 8 to 10 p.m. slot, and also Good Girls drew a 0.9 adult, so adults between 18 and 49 ratings of 4.04 million.
Woo! That's a lot of mills.
It
That's
is.
probably what the girls are going to be turning over here in the next couple episodes.
Right, it is. Just to give you guys a comparison, Idol does a 7.16 million, but again, Idol is a huge competition
Right.
show.
It's been on for years,
Been
yeah.
on for years. People are calling in. This for a network comedy / a little drama, but mainly it's being categorized as a comedy. To have a 4.04 million is pretty good. So
That's awesome. All right, guys. So, Good Girls is having great ratings, and you guys have been watching our shows as well, which is awesome. And we thank you so much for watching. So, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Do you want to tell everybody where the good people can find you?
Well, you good people can find me on Instagram at Bonjour Juliet. That's like hello in French. We say bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. And my name is Juliet, Juliet. I also host Trust, FX Trust, which is a great show. Please go check that out. And while you're at it, check out, there's some AfterBuzz Perfectified, so much content. It's ridiculous. So just get lost in iTunes and YouTube, the whole scam.
Yep. So follow Juliet and say bonjour. Leave her a comment
Yes,
that
say
says
bonjour.
that. And I'm Kelsey Hightower, and you can follow me on Instagram at Kels Hightower. And thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.